Hello everyone. In today's class of respiration in plants, we will be taking upon glycolysis. Although I have talked about a little bit about the aerobic respiration in my previous introductory class of respiration in plants, in which I have told you that aerobic respiration comprises of two steps primarily. That is, one is glycolysis. Now see, this glycolysis word is made up of two words. We know that, glyco and lysis. Lysis means breakdown. So breaking down of glucose. Okay, to breaking down of glucose, of course it will be releasing energy, but as far as glycolysis is concerned, it will be producing some product, intermediate product. Now it depends upon the requirement of the cell whether this product, which is the pyruvic acid at the end of the glycolysis, whether it will be utilized for anaerobic respiration, whether it will be utilized for alcoholic fermentation, or whether it will be utilized for that of your lactic acid fermentation. It depends upon the need of the organism. That we will be of course taking upon in the coming classes to follow. But primarily today we are going to study about the breaking down of the glucose finally into that of your pyruvic acid. So that is what is the purpose for today's class. Now see, in case of animal, the ultimate simplified food product is that of glucose. But in case of plants, as a result of photosynthesis, it is the sucrose which is produced. Now this sucrose is broken down into glucose and fructose by an enzyme which is called as your invertase. So once it is converted into glucose and fructose, then this process of glycolysis is same like that of the animal cell where the glycolysis takes place. And we all know that glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of a cell. And the next part of the that is the respiration. If it is aerobic respiration, then the Krebs cycle takes place in the matrix of the mitochondria, and the ETS takes place in the inner membrane, inner mitochondrial membrane of the that is organelle called the mitochondria. Okay, now this work of glycolysis was worked upon by three scientists, Embedon, Meyerhof and Parnas. That is why it is also known as your EMP pathway. So sometimes this question also comes, what do you mean by EMP pathway? Depending upon the three scientists' name, Embedon, Meyerhof and Parnas, this glycolysis or this pathway is named as EMP pathway. Okay, now here see, utilization of energy is taking place as well as formation of also energy takes place. So how many ATP molecules are produced at the end of glycolysis, that we will be coming and counting at the end of this entire process. So at first glucose, which is a 6-carbon compound, now it gets phosphorylated. Okay, it gets phosphorylated. Hexokinase is the enzyme which helps in the breakdown of ATP into ADP and inorganic phosphate, and this phosphate is taken up by the glucose to form the glucose 6-phosphate, which is of course a 6-carbon compound, but this is a process in which energy is utilized. So here you see 1 ATP is utilized. The next thing is that this glucose 6-phosphate changes into fructose 6-phosphate by means of an enzyme which is called as your isomerase. Now there is a change in the conformation, so it's just a fructose 6-phosphate. So after this fructose 6-phosphate, again phosphorylation takes place in the similar manner by the utilization of ATP to form fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. So it is also a 6-carbon compound. Okay, so up to here says fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, 2 ATP molecules is utilized, no ATP is formed. Okay, now 2 ATP is utilized. Now from this fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, what happens is that now it undergoes a breaking of this 6-carbon compound into 2 molecules of 3-carbon compound, that is phosphoglyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Now these two products which are formed as a result of breakdown of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, these are interchangeable. Okay, these are interchangeable, and this can be converted into PGALD, okay, that is phosphoglyceraldehyde. And now what happens is that there will be that is your formation of an energy rich compound in this process, that is from PGAL to form 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid by the formation of NADH plus H. So this is an energy rich compound which is first formed in the glycolysis. So this is the step. Okay, and then next you see from this 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid, there is removal of one that is inorganic phosphate, and formation of ATP, that is ADP will take up that one and it will form the ATP, and it will form 3-phosphoglyceric acid. So from 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid, 1 phosphate is removed, so it forms 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Now here, since it is ATP formation is taking place from one substrate, the next product which is formed as a result of conversion of one substrate to another product, and during that phase if an energy rich compound ATP is produced, this step is called as your substrate level phosphorylation. So if in exam the question comes, name a stage in the glycolysis where substrate level phosphorylation takes place, you can say that from 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid, when it is converted into 3-phosphoglyceric acid, then one inorganic phosphate is released, which is taken upon by the ADP to produce ATP, which is an energy rich compound. So this is a substrate level phosphorylation. From this 3-phosphoglyceric acid, now it will be forming 2 molecules. These are all 2 molecules, because see, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate was 6 carbon, so 6 carbon is broken down into 3 carbon. So 1 3 carbon, 1 3 carbon, that means 2 molecules of 3 carbon. So it is continued in this way. So 2 molecules of next from 3-phosphoglyceric acid, it will be converting itself. The position of the phosphorus group will change. It will form 2-phosphoglyceric acid. That is, in the glyceric acid, position of the phosphate group will now come to the second carbon instead of the third carbon. Now from there, that is 2 molecules of that is 2-phosphoglyceric acid. Now what will happen is that it will undergo dehydration. That means 1 molecule of water will be released and it will form 2 molecules of phosphoenol pyruvate. Okay. Now enol is alcohol, phosphoenol pyruvate. Now from this phosphoenol pyruvate, 2 molecules of pyruvic acid will be formed, which again will be releasing 1 phosphorus. So when phosphorus is released, this phosphorus will be taken up by ADP to produce again ATP, which is the energy rich compound. Now here also see, from one compound another one is formed. During that process ATP is produced. So this is also a substrate level phosphorylation. Got it? So 2 steps we are getting. One is from 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Here substrate level phosphorylation is taking place, and another one is from this phosphoenol pyruvic acid to pyruvic acid. Here also 1 ATP is produced or generated. That is also substrate level phosphorylation. Now since here see, it was 2 molecules of 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. So for this 1 is formed. So for 2 molecules it will be 2. So 2 ATP are produced actually for 2 molecules of 3 carbon compound, and here also there are 2 molecules of phosphoenol pyruvate. So for 1 it is 1 ATP. So for 2 it will be 2 ATP. So 2 ATP and 2 ATP. So 4 ATP are generated. But in the initial stages, when the glucose was broken down, during that time ATP was utilized, and also from fructose 6-phosphate, when fructose 1,6-bisphosphate was formed, then also that is your ATP was utilized. So here 2 ATP is utilized, isn't it? And here 2 ATP and 2 ATP was produced. So 4 minus 2, that is 2 ATP. So 2 ATP is produced here. But here I told you that 1 NADH2, that is NADH plus H plus, is also produced. So 1 NADH2 will yield during the time of ETS, which will be coming in the later part of the chapter. During that time it will be generating 3 ATP molecules. Understood? 1 NADH2 will be yielding 3 ATP. So here it is 3 carbon compound, here it is 3 carbon compound. So 2 molecules of 3 carbon compound. So that means for 1 it is 1 NADH2, for 2 it will be 2 NADH2. And when I said for 1 NADH2 3 ATP, so for 2 NADH2 3 2s are 6, so 6 ATP. So here we are ultimately getting 6 ATP, and here we, after subtracting these 2 ATP from these 2, we were getting 2 ATP. So 6 plus 2 is 8 ATP. So at the end of your glycolysis, we are getting 8 ATP molecules. So when we will be reading Krebs cycle, so during that time also we will be calculating how many ATP is generated during the aerobic respiration, that is the Krebs cycle portion, and then we will be finding out that what is the ultimate ATP molecules produced when one single glucose molecule is broken down. So in your NCERT book you will find that it is written 38 ATP molecules. 38 ATP molecules is true in case of animal cell or in case of the prokaryotic unicellular cells and all. But as far as the plant cells are concerned, instead of 38 ATP molecules, one glucose molecule yields 36 ATP molecules. Now what is the reason? There are various reasons or explanations regarding it. That is, some are of the opinion that since this entire process of glycolysis is taking place in the cytoplasm, so from the cytoplasm, the pyruvic acid which is produced, now this pyruvic acid will enter into the that is your mitochondrial matrix. So when it will be entering into the mitochondrial matrix, during that time 2 ATP, because there are certain carrier molecules, to those carrier molecules to accept this pyruvic acid requires 2 ATP molecules. So when those 2 ATP molecules are utilized, so 38 minus 2 becomes 36 there. So that is the explanation. And some are of the opinion that this, when the electron transport system goes on, this NADH2, instead of exactly yielding 3 ATP molecules, they are yielding 2.5 ATP molecules. So that way also if it is calculated, then it becomes 36 ATP molecules. But when in exam it comes that how many ATP is generated when one molecule of glucose is oxidized in case of animal cell or in case of the unicellular organisms, then you will be writing it as 38 ATP molecules. And if it comes that how many ATP molecules are generated when the breakdown of glucose takes place in a plant cell, then you will write it as the 36 ATP molecules. Got it? So this was today's class about glycolysis. I hope you have understood the calculation of how the ATP is 8 ATP molecules at the end of glycolysis, why it is called EMP pathway, and what is the 2 steps in glycolysis where substrate level phosphorylation takes place. And what do you mean by substrate level phosphorylation? Substrate level phosphorylation means from one substrate to the next yielding product, when the utilization of phosphorus or acceptance of the phosphorus by ADP takes place, so that an energy rich compound ATP is formed. So we call that step to be the substrate level phosphorylation. And one is from 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid to 3-phosphoglyceric acid, and another one is from 2-phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvic acid. Okay, so these are the steps of the substrate level phosphorylation. So that's all for today's class. I hope you have understood glycolysis well, and you will also go through the things which is given in your NCERT, so that this steps or these diagrams becomes easier for you to understand. And any step in exam, suppose if this entire thing is given, any particular step is coming in the form of blank, or you have to write the product, then you should know that which product will come after what. Okay, so that must be very much clearer to you, because in this respiration in plants, the 2 things which are very much important is glycolysis and another one is your Krebs cycle. So if you are clear with these 2, the rest, the respiratory balance sheet and respiratory quotient, these are very easy, and why it is called amphibolic pathway. So those few things are only there from this chapter, but the primary thing is about the glycolysis and that of the Krebs cycle. That's all for today's class.